Dr. Tejpal Dheva to the stage. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Akanksha. So, good afternoon, everyone. It is my distinct honor and privilege to introduce a towering figure in the field of public health and nutrition, Professor Seema Nair, ma'am. Professor Nair brings with her over 3 decades of rich experience in teaching, research, and strategic leadership across national and international platforms. Her work has been instrumental in shaping large-scale, multi-stakeholder initiative aimed at combating micronutrient deficiencies, anemia, and other pressing public health challenges in India and abroad. Currently, she serves as scientist and chair of the National Panel on Fortification and Nutrition at Food Safety and Standards Authority of India (FSSAI) under the Ministry of Health and Family Welfare. She is also a key contributor to global nutrition policy as a scientist on the Codex panel for product targeting young children and a technical advisor for rice fortification with the Ministry of Consumer Affairs, Food and Public Distribution. Her collaborative footprint spans across esteemed institutions and agencies such as FAO, WHO, UNICEF, Cornell University, Nutrition International, and several leading Indian organizations including ICMR, NIN, PATH, and Tata Trust. With over 30 peer-reviewed publications in the last 5 years, 16 of which are Scopus Index, Professor Nair continues to mentor postgraduate and doctoral scholars while influencing policy and practices at the highest level. Her expertise in the project design, strategic planning, government liaison, capacity building, and advocacy has not only advanced public health outcome but also strengthened institutional partnership across the continent. Please join me in welcoming Professor Seema Nair, a visionary leader, a scholar of impact in our Gyan course, Food Security, Nutrition and Innovation, as the first national speaker on the topic Nutrition Security 2030 and Viksit Bharat 2047. Now over to you, ma'am. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Dr. Tejpal. Thank you for inviting me. I would like to congratulate you as a visionary leader taking this forward, and your Vice Chancellor and your university team members, the registrar, and also the dear students who are participating and other participants who have registered. Thank you so much for inviting me. I think I would like to start the presentation. So I'll do the share screening now, right? Has the screen come there? Showing? No? Yeah. So I have selected the entire screen. Share. Yes. Okay. So yes. Is the presentation visible? All right. Okay. Yeah. Thank you so much. Yeah. Good afternoon, one and everyone present out at Haryana Central University. I'm glad to be here today for giving you a brief idea on Nutrition Security 2030, Viksit Bharat 2047, where your university is organizing this event with global initiative on academic network program in collaboration with Ministry of Education and Department of Nutrition Biology requires a loud applause for having this interdisciplinary applied sciences effect. So, talking about food security, nutrition, and innovations, I felt that a lot of things would be known to you and would like to start. How do we talk about food security? Is when we remember the great legend, Dr. M.S. Swaminathan, who talked to us about how Green Revolution brought in the 1960s, uh, where it addressed the hunger and poverty issues to a large extent. So, being a legend, he had been largely successful in addressing the calorie hunger through increased supplies of access to food grains, particularly rice, wheat, and maize for all our populations to consume. But we have passed now so many years, or after 1960s, now we have one thing to address now is the hidden hunger caused by inadequate access of micronutrient rich foods. So when you look at the per capita availability of different crops and food commodities in India from 91 to 2018-19, what you would see is per capita availability of food grains per year has changed, and you would see the food crops consumption has come to better level, and these have now gone to little less on 60% consumption. But when you look at what was available, apart, the people have started consuming more of pulses, eggs, livestock, and any dairy products and edible oil and sugar, which talks to us that the food availability reflects significant changes in the Indian food basket, that people are now able to afford and the foods are accessible to all the populations. Coming from food grain security to diet diversification, we have now a National Food Security Act, which is passed to ensure food nutrition security through associated schemes and programs by the government. But however, these again have more focused on calorie feeding because we need to address calorie consumption, especially among the vulnerable populations. Therefore, we need to address more about the optimal nutrient intake and adequate micronutrients because we are still need to addressing that. Achieving nutrition security is the vision for Government of India 2030, where if we have optimal nutrient intake across Indian states, a 1% increase in per capita income would be seen. That would reduce the underweight by 0.4%, stunting by 1.4%, and infant mortality rate by 0.6%. So it is evident from these graphs and these calculations that the economic growth of a country reduces child undernutrition and mortality rate in India, with its impact being strongest in the incidence of stunting. We need to keep in mind India is not yet out of stunting, which is our nutrition indicator. So when we talk of economic growth, our country is really very much progressing with having bullet trains, with having rockets, which we are making our own. We have launched the missions, and we are really moving very fast and trying to be globally placed. So we look at economic growth and undernutrition carried out by two ways. First is growth needs to trickle down to lowest income deciles through increased household income, one, and through increased government spending. So this has to go hand in hand. And the second is to increased income should result in augmenting the household spending on nutrition and health. Because in India, we have a lot of festivals. So our families are not so worried. They will definitely spend on festivities than when we talk of regular intake of nutrients and optimal health. But there are good figures which we can look at. We have a good reduction in poverty headcount ratio from 2005 to 2012, where reduction in malnutrition happened from data from 2006 to 16 across states. So we can see a lot of states coming in and achieving betterment, and they are, though they are better, but they are in the 0.2% ratio of the country. And you see marginal Assam, Manipur, and Jammu Kashmir on the margins of betterment. You will see Mizoram, Nagaland, and Arunachal Pradesh completely coming into the picture. So this is a data from National Family Health Survey 3 and 4. And so you can see the percentage decrease per year of underweight children in these, especially for the last 2005, 6 to 16. And that's quite a achievement, I would like to say. So we are moving forward now, and a lot of activities have happened across the country. We are now moving from food security to nutrition security, and transforming food to enhance the supply of diversity and nutrient quality is the dominant challenge for any developing country where they try to move from food security to nutrient security. So, what is food security? Everybody gets appropriate food to consume and hunger is addressed. Nutrient security is far away from food security because that is talking of perfectly the macro micronutrients to be completely given, where we have to talk that it refers to situation where all people at all times have physical, social, economic access to sufficient, safe, nutritious food that meets their dietary needs and preferences for an active, healthy life. So, nutrient security plays a major role. Food security definitely is a must, and that's where we are transforming. So, we have a public distribution system who is addressing this issue, and by take home ration methods, especially through the Anganwadi centers for pregnant mothers, lactating mothers, and they have self-help group women who are there. So this also is now transformed to adolescent programs as well as to children under 6 years. We have flagship schemes, which you are aware of, midday meal scheme, where 120 million children are every day having school feeding program. We have Poshan Abhiyan, which is also known as PM Poshan program, where it is targeting stunting, anemia, low birth weight, integrated interventions, etc., with the focus on maternal and child health, especially in rural tribal regions. And now we have moved to digitally tracking them and involving the communities to enhance by having village portion divas in most of the places. So these programs have a very big impact and they are trying to address the gap between food and nutrient security. And the critical need, as I said, is optimal nutrition. So, how do we say we have optimal nutrition? So, adequate nutrition during infancy and early childhood is what we need to ensure because that will help us to reach the full growth and development potential. So, this optimal intake comes right from a very young age with an infant young child feeding practices in full potential, especially during infancy and childhood. And what research says is that during this period of time, if we practice optimal breastfeeding, we can prevent 13% of death, especially in children younger than 5 years of age. And if we really do the complementary feeding, we have additional 6% benefit to reduce under 5 mortality. So two things we are still insisting: optimal breastfeeding and optimal complementary feeding. So that helps the a person in a very younger age, even if the mother has missed the opportunity to be addressed at this point of time. This also involves a lot of feeding practices and behaviors. So, by the age of 6 months, an infant's need for energy and nutrients starts to exceed by which they can provide from breast milk. Complementary feeding will augment that energy from those nutrient which we will provide because we will give them good food from 6 months onwards. Both feeding and food practices influence quality of the feeding purposes and the feeding behaviors. So this is a very sensitive issue, and mothers are being trained through Anganwadis and public health programs at large. So we gave this as how when we train the mothers, we have village nutrition days where we call them and we give them the take home rations, which are packets of foods which are made with 9 micronutrients and added to it, and depending upon what the state requires to consume, and they are given as an added complementary practice for the communities, and these provisions make it very easy to access. And also we have rasoi shows and we show them how to consume these products. So we expect approximately 130 grams which is ek mutti bhar ke. That's how we tell the mothers, and they need to add warm water into it and a bit of oil or ghee, whichever they can afford, and they definitely consume that. And that is where this take-home rations are going to work. So we have the vision mission guiding principles aligned to UN goals, and what the vision is a world without malnutrition where everyone enjoys the right to adequate food, interdependent on, indivisible from all human rights, and now in future is the vision which we have. We have the guiding principles based on human rights based approach, and we have to provide good governance for nutrition. Inclusivity, subsidiarity, accountability are the other factors by which we have to make those food provisions. It has to be multi-sectoral, and government approaches should be having the holistic approach, should not have conflict of interest, respect, support according to country priorities needs to be done, recognition between human and planetary health, to have a one health approach in a harmonious way has to be addressed, and the focus is to on the vulnerable and gender transformative actions which are there. So based on that vision, we also have the Saksham Anganwadi program, Portion 2.0, which is still now continuing as INSP program part 2, which is Integrated Nutrition Support Program, and addresses all pregnant mothers, children, girls, adolescent girls, lactating mother and women, with a strategic shift. When I say through a strategic shift in nutrition content and delivery by creating ecosystems, that's where the village health days provide a role. So these mothers, these young adolescent girls are also called to the Anganwadi. The girls are called every Tuesday or every second Saturday, where in the post noon the girls are free. They get trained how to use those take home rations, because we want to address this as early as possible, so that we want to reduce the intrauterine growth deficiencies which are occurring in the girls. So there are various objectives to this program. One is to address the nutrition and health status of children with the age of 0 to 6 years, to lay the foundation for psychological, social well-being, to reduce incidence of mortality, morbidity, and we don't want school dropouts, we don't want malnourishment happening, we don't want stunting to result in, so we need to have that as a major coordination, and have effective coordination of policy implementation with various departments as well as child health department, and capability of mother to look after a normal health and nutrition education which is being provided through all mediums and all platforms to everybody. So, keeping that as a policy, we call this as a supplementary nutrition action, with one of them to cover the Anganwadi services with a network of 14 lakh Anganwadi centers in the country. It will help us to address primarily to bridge the gap between the recommended dietary elements and the average dietary intake. So the daily intake is something we have a policy by the NIM to have the recommended dietary elements, but not necessary that we are taking everything daily as per those. It goes up and down a little bit. And therefore, the supplementary nutrition is given to the vulnerable groups so that they address that gap which can happen, and optimal nutrients should be in place. So the pregnant lactating mothers who are the beneficiaries are approximately 5.5 lakhs, and children under 6 years of age are about 26 lakhs who are getting covered in this program. So based on this, the nutritional norms which have been kept is to have calories as well as proteins, and the cost has been worked out. So with children, with the requirement of 12 to 15 grams of protein, the diet is 8 rupees. For a SAM child with 20 to 25, the diet is 12 rupees. Pregnant lactating mothers, 18 to 20 grams of protein, cost is 950. Adolescent girls, 9 rupees 50 paise. So looking at this, it's just average 10 rupees by which we are addressing these inputs. The food components which are present here is rice, dal, oil, eggs. Wherever eggs are being consumed, we are giving them. For the children, we have Balamridam program and the eggs given additionally. And These are also as a kit program, nutrition kit given to the non-tribal areas and the tribal areas. What you see in the tribal areas, people cannot come and have access completely all the time. So therefore, we are giving them a little bit more things which they can consume, and they can take it to their places and consume 200 ml per day milk, which is to be given. So the accessibility issue is what has been addressed to the tribal areas, and depending upon what they consume and looking at their daily diet inputs, these programs are being worked out. I would like to give you certain state examples on what's happening across India. So we have the THR given. So the SAM child will get a THR over and above the hot cooked meal which is provided in the Anganwadi. And the government has fixed the beneficiary cost ratio based on calorie protein consumptions. So as I said, the per head ration cost will be rupees 7 for pregnant lactating mothers, rupees 6 for a normal child under 3 years, and rupees 9 for a severely malnourished child when you take all the average cost into consideration. So government of Odisha worked out a program based on this with ready to eat products which is wheat based, which they call as chartua, which is in the form of DHR. And this they have made intentions that the mother consumes it specifically and not enters the family kitty. If it goes to the family kitty, what happens is interdistribution among family members can happen, and it will not give the appropriate results which we want. So these guidelines are universally operated throughout the states, and this is implemented through the partner who is the self-help group women who are there, and they are instructed how this is to be carried out. So these are on for pregnant mother, lactating mother. These are on Wednesdays and Saturdays, and there is Rasi Laddu, which is prepared for a severely malnourished child, and of normal children, two boiled eggs on every Wednesday, Saturday is being given. So we are trying to address this whole concern, and this also helps us to have to address the 15% processing loss where we may have at the normal procedures which we follow, our traditional procedures while cooking. So that's the way we are working, and this is just to show you the Russian entitlement on how we are looking at it for 6 months to 3 years with 21 grams of protein. So if you look at this, the SAM child gets the best protein, and 3 to 6 year old children gets 10.3 grams of protein per diet, which is being worked out. So we have looked into the cost effectiveness and processing losses, the consumption pattern, the cost, the purchase, everything, and that's how this is being calculated. Supplementary nutrition programs in other states, I would like you to draw your attention with Government of Kerala. So what they did is they had developed and designed materials to educate mothers in local language. So the 1,000 day approach has been used in this. So 270 days of the pregnancy and 730 days where the child is growing. So 6 months to 9 months, 10 months, then 1 year to 2 years. So they divided this whole program with the mother and with the child, and following up the child up to 2 years, which helps them to address all the optimal nutrient care which needs to be done. So why did we do these, or what is the rationale for mapping up all this? Is that we want to compare and we want to bring the global guidance for the young child, so that we build a healthy nation with young children growing with all the optimal nutrients and the calorie approach and required protein which is needed. So this is a workout which is being given by the World Food Program, because they are the ones who address the emergency nutrition aspect. So why am I saying we are addressing emergency nutrition aspect? Any country when has 54 to 56% anemia and deficiency and severe stunting which is happening, which calls for the World Food Program people and the UN people to make it as an emergency approach to address the growth and development of the children of the country. So that's how this whole comparison between dietary allowance and complementary feeding has been involved. And this we have already looked at, each country has to look at their requirements. So we have the recommended dietary allowance which is being given to us by the NIN. So we looking at all micronutrients, B6, B12, vitamin D, as per recommendations from WHO and FAO, and we are also looking at designing these based on the THRs which we are giving to the population. So this is just a chart to make you give you the view of this whole issues. The type of products which we are developing, take home rations, about 87 products we have, and the 55 products have certain divisions, ready to cook and ready to eat. Of this, the ready to cook 40 products are fortified, 6 non-fortified. Ready to eat we have which have fortified 5 products and non-fortified 4 products. Over and above, we have dry rations given to each household, and we have hot cooked meals which we are giving. So that is the way the distribution is done, and the distribution of the THR also to extra two states where we can see the 10 state divisions where who is purchasing what, and Andaman, Nicobar, West Bengal, etc. have a mix of either specific products or a hot cooked meal products in combining. Where you see the blue color, you will see all three combined aspects being addressed in most of the states. So there is a norm which has been revised for the supplementary nutrition program by the WCD ministry, and we came to conclusion on an average 500 kilocalories to be provided with 12 to 15 grams of protein to children, and 800 calories with 20 to 25 grams of protein for a sang child, 600 calories, 18 to 20 grams of protein for pregnant and lactating mothers. Then we also looked at these fortification guidelines, how much to give, what vitamins to add. So as I said, we are having 9 micronutrients added into this. So we are looking at all these micronutrients which will play a major role in shaping up a mother's intrauterine requirements. We have ideal composition of of the products, and we have worked out how much kilojoules would be per giving, what are the essential fatty acids, linoleic to alpha linoleic acid, how much fat should be added, should there be sugar or not, how much milk to be given, are they good and can they be stored or not, etc. By making various products with these take home rations, these have been worked out and tried very well so that it is easy for us to educate the communities. So observations of the existing THR is that we have no specific data available on exact composition, but we are making these products which are there, and they are based on guidelines of ICDS, and the micronutrients are aligned with the availability for iron. Out of 41 products, we have 18 products which are really good in iron content. We have RTC and RTE products, both which are required for norms of energy, protein, and micronutrients, which is available. We have, so this is just to show you of the 55 THRs, 27% of them had vegetable oil added as the main source of fat, 3 had ghee, 15 rations had no fat, while data was not available for 9 rations. And for sugars, 38 people used regular sugar, while 4 included jaggery. Others did not have sugar. And no data was available for 9 type of rations which were there. So this just gives us what are the kind of consumption. So mixed pulses, rice, mixed pulses. If you see here, it's little lesser. So we just wanted to understand what is coming out of this and how are people consuming this. So the energy from macronutrients, total 38 of the 41 products gave us zero point 0.8 kilocalories, with average energy contribution from carbohydrates was 64%. Energy contribution from protein from the 31 products, 6 products did not comply, and the energy from protein was 12%. 19 of the 41 RTC RTE products had global norms of energy contribution, which is from fat, which is about 22%, and 48.5% was from Meghalaya, and that was by the addition of milk powder into the THR. Energy from sugar, uh, from 24 of the 41 products, did not comply to the global guidance of the sugar contribution, and average sugar coming was 23% from Panjiri being highest, which was 33% distributed in Delhi, and lowest energy dense in Dalia, which is in UP. And of the 11 products with milk and milk products, we found Karnataka, Madhya Pradesh, Manipur, Nagaland, Andhra Pradesh, Arunachal Pradesh, and UP coming in. So that's about certain aspects. And Gujarat introduced something called as e-Mamta cards, and they looked at how people are consuming, especially in Limkeda, Dahod, and Jalod. These are tribal districts, very far off to reach. A survey was done on 360 mothers with pre-tested questionnaires, and 94% of the mothers did not know what are these packets. They didn't know what was a balbok, but they were carrying it and giving. They had no idea what was that, but they were giving, consuming sometimes. And 264 of them received the bulk book, that is 60% of them received less than 7 packets, and 47% reported they did not like the taste. 80% said, therefore, they gave it to livestock. So the input which the government is doing is not being used very well, and therefore now a lot of actions have been carried out for addressing these concerns and issues. And we wanted to understand that this be taken very seriously, and the government has been informed about it. Then we looked at consumption and awareness. So sukdi, sira, upma were consumption, where people said average 60%, 80 to 60% of people said it was good of taste. And there was a final lookout done where sukdi by 15%, sira by 12%, upma by 12% were consumed exclusively. And some also did not like the taste, so they said they gave it to the cattle. No mothers were aware of self-record selection from Mamta cards or how to track this and how the SNP is being tracked, etc. Nobody was aware of those uh, points. So I am moving then from the take-home rations to the global rice fortification. That's where the government said that let's give at least one time fortified rice to all our populations, where everybody would definitely in India consume at any given point of time one meal which will have at least 100 grams to 150 grams of cooked rice. So PATH is an NGO who used this aspect in India. From 1930, we had various people who had doing various aspects of the technology for fortification, and these came up over a period of time, and they finally became very successful and supported with FSSAI standards in 2016, advocacy developed from 2020, and implementation carried out with our PM talking about this from the Red Fort, that all ration shops will give fortified rice by 2024. Definitely, we are giving. Only thing is, quality check, quality control measures are still not very great, and not that every time we are giving optimally made rice, but some plus and minus is happening. So this is an opportunity being considered again by the World Food Program to address masses, especially the school program. And you will see that 65% of Indian consume rice. That was one major rule. Easy to make because this doesn't have much of fat to be losing on this. Polished rice removes 70 to 90% of vitamin B1 and 6, and therefore we also added them back into the system, and that is where we are adding few micronutrients to the rice and then making the rice. So these are the micronutrients which are added. These are the fortificants which are used in, and we had approximately 15 published papers in India now where various fortified food products are being consumed and micronutrients are being addressed. So we got of these 14 studies, HB improvement in 6 out of 12 studies. Iron status parameters improved 6 out of 8 studies. 2 did not report any HB or iron status improvement at all. We had Narmada Valley study where people are in a tribal area consuming the public distribution given rice and the households. Their food was jowar wheat rice, and average age was 26. Most of the subjects are mild and moderate anemic. BMI was 22, hemoglobin was 10.84. We looked at what is the comparison happening. So we had 0.28 grams of the mean control reduced their anemic levels, and experimental also had zero point 0.2 grams reduction. So we had a good significant result at this, and their ferritin also improved. What we looked at and found was through rice fortification, we had 4.2 grams of iron, which was being consumed when they consumed 100 grams of cooked rice. So these results were encouraging. We saw that 10% reduction of anemia in the key areas of Gujarat and Odisha, 42.8% improved cognitive abilities in Karnataka, where these results are also seen. And 8 is to 1 was the benefit to cost ratio approached when we looked at benefits of fortification program. So looking at all this, Niti Aayog made certain good practices which has been done in across the states. So they had this take-home ration analysis done. So they made documents on procurement, on production. So procurement through various governments who are procuring it, and production, decentralized production, each state can make. So Kerala has Amritam Nutribakes. Odisha, through women self-help groups, are making chatua as a product. Karnataka is using Mahila supplementary food production centers and women self-help groups to address these issues and concerns. So multiple processes happening to address the nutrient insufficiency or the gap which is seen between the food and nutrition security across the country. So what we look at when we look at an Anganwadi, they visit the women and children once in 15 days and check whether they are taking the rations regular, are they taking medicines regular, are they addressing the malnourishment, etc. So it's a big program. Always we will see some drawbacks and some things not happening in the program, but overall, I would like to say the programs are performing quite well. So now I would like to, since you also have certain innovations in your curriculum and in your idea, I would like to move to the innovations which we are looking at. So the countermeasures are by the government to have the innovations where in Poshan Abhiyan we wanted to address low birth weight, undernutrition, etc. And we considered millets as a greater option to address universal malnutrition system because they are rich in fiber and mineral content. Government allowed a big announcement of millet mission in the UN World Food Program. So we also then looked at greenhouse emissions, and the government felt that food innovation needs to be very cost effective. Rich dietary products should be consumed. Foods like egg, meat, fish, etc. do offer more of proteins and are essential nutrients. But India, a majority vegetarian country, animal protein sources are not a dietary option. So we also have conversely the animal agriculture, which includes poultry farming, which is responsible for 18% of the greenhouse emission. So India looks more on paddy and wheat cultivation, and that's where these greenhouse emissions are impacted. So there was a look on the vegan diets, what needs to be consumed. So the development of protein-rich food with egg, meat-like textures were explored in India. So we have a new segment of plant-based proteins which are coming very high, and we are having a very high biodiversity on that. So various consumers and stakeholders with lot of startup. This is being tried now as bridging nutrition gap so as to reduce the carbon footprints, and we are having a lot of innovations on this. So the Central Rural Development Technology Division in IIT Delhi has an innovation which is called as UNDP Accelerated Lab, which is being developed as a new sustainable dietary option. We're working with the team with Dr. Krishnan and Dr. Kavya who are there. And what they are looking is making new domains of developing nutritious dietary options with plant-based eggs and the protein levels which they are making with good taste, texture, appearance would be like the real eggs, but they are not an animal product, it's a plant product. And leveraging age old kitchen pulses for extraction of protein isolation, those technologies are working out. So these eggs will contain lentils, legumes, chickpeas, pea, and other plant sources. It's something like if you have seen the tofu, something like that is being tried out, and this is being done. And these are with natural colors with lentils and purposable kitchen colored condiments are used to have the exact poultry look. I would like to give two examples of innovations which is happening in African countries. One is Amini. It addresses the Africa's critical data scarcity on agriculture and efforts to minimize post-harvest losses. So they have adopted certain sustainable practices, and that helps them to have end-to-end data aggregation for understanding diverse land scale cropping, leveraging the real time satellite methodologies and imageries to have spatial mapping and existing data maps with the client data they are trying to use maximum. They further moved on using artificial intelligence, machine learning, and Amini measures crop conditions, water stress, soil moisture, etc. So they've developed this as a program, as an app, which is helping them to do this. There's another one called as Carpolax. Carpolax addresses the global challenges of overconsumption of plastic. It develops certain sachets containing polymers which diminish the natural degradation of foods, and that is by having the enzyme being released, which is phospholipase, and adding the sachet to a box of fruit helps the fruit to stay fresh and longer and maintains the nutrient quality up to 33 days post harvest, and that is a big ratio which is being practiced in Uganda, and these people have patented this technology. So I would like to bring this. We need more policy based recommendations. We need to strengthen our regulatory mandate standards. We need more financial investments, and crisis affected regions should be addressed separately. We need to educate our communities, and we should have wide options and spread, adopt the various villages and states which needs to be addressed critically. And future actions should have non-medical academic and medical academic institutions to have periodic basis of using THR, SNP, augmenting the pregnant mother's health and children's health. And we should have context-specific demand improvisation, especially through the ICDS service, because they are the largest reaching out to all populations. So, looking at policy and conclusions, I would like to say food fortification is one of the public health strategy where we have limited access to diverse, nutritious food due to rising cost. Then we should go to food fortification as one option because it's a promising solution. And if we can afford, then we should look at all those lively thoughts which have been shared. So policy reforms are very much needed for friendly behaviors, technology changes, encouraging innovation, and having equitable access to healthy food to everybody. These are just few packets. Just I wanted to show from various states the how the THR packets are being made, and products are being made and sold to all the mothers, given to all the mothers. And these are the Saksham Anganwadi, which is taking care of all these in these adolescent health program. So let's join hands to provide good health, improved quality of life. Let's eat fortified. This is just a picture to show you how the African countries are developing a new program on their mobile apps and getting all immediate information. These are farmers who are working on it. So Africa has 9 innovations, but I just brought two of them. I'll share the article where I think your organizers can make. You have any questions? I'm ready to answer what best I can answer. Thank you so much for your patient listening. Yes, I can hear you. It's a post-noon session, so it may feel bored, but any questions you can put forth, or they can email me also.
So I would like to ask you one question related to vegan diet. How vegan diet influence gut microbiota?
Yeah, so there are various type of plant proteins which are being tried out, and all the vegan products have the improvisation of these microbiota. They are working on the microbiome axis, and a lot of experiments are being done. So to state something, we can take one best example, the yogurts which are being made as the first example where the country tried, because we are a vegetarian country and we wanted to go completely vegan. A lot of products are now bringing out betterment in the gut health and reducing the diabetic index, that is the glycemic index, as well as improving the cardiovascular disease which can problem. This will take a little bit of time. We have just started all this and will have certain implications to bring this into a large scale approach. But I think it's fast progressing. You will see especially a lot of youngsters going for a vegan diet.
Thank you, ma'am.
Does
One
that
more,
answer? Yeah,
yes,
yeah.
ma'am. One more question related to the vegan diet. What is the impact, long-term impact of vegan diet on bone health?
Okay, so bone health is a specific area. I want all of us to keep in mind we are an animal cell based organism. Okay, so we human are based on that. All your bone health definitely will need a good amount of calcium. But a lot of technologies are being leveraged to get the calcium how best we can extract. So, as I said, those plant products are also making vegetarian type of eggs which are there. I did purchase them and use them. It's really expensive. It is coming from Haryana somewhere, but how much of calcium will bring into those levels and changes? Uh, People would start studying and some results would really come up. So we are also looking forward to listening to all that.
Oh, thank you, ma'am.
Over to you.
Good afternoon, ma'am. I'm Dilshida.
Good.
I just want to ask you that, like, meaning of the title itself. Like, why do you say that nutrition security 2030 is linked with Viksit Bharat 2047? There is a 10 years gap. Also, like, what it does actually mean?
So that's what I said. In 2013, we launched the Food Nutrition Security Act. We never had an act which also says that everybody should get good food, equal nutrition, equal sensitivity on this whole approach. So from that, when we started experimenting, we saw that we are not providing optimal nutrition to everybody, not providing optimal food to everybody. So the first approach of the government was to improve the public distribution system. So now we have food security completely done by having 2 rupees of rice and 3 rupees of wheat per kg, and we give approximately 30 kg to a 5-member household across the country under the One Nation One Ration program. So I have a ration card in Gujarat. I can go to Delhi and also buy the ration, or if I go to Kerala, also I can use the same ration card. So first is food secure, so I am getting my calories adjusted. Second is nutrient security. So once we came out of that poverty and the hunger issues, we are now addressing the nutrient security. So micronutrients largely and proteins, which we are encouraging people to consume proteins. Definitely, the cost for proteins are very high, but micronutrients we are giving them as take-home rations and trying to address the optimal nutrient gap, and that's where we are coming up. So I would like to say from 2013 to 2023, and then from 2023 to 2047, where more technologies will be leveraged for having improvised nutrients, especially as I said, India being a vegan country, I mean vegetarian country, more vegan diets, and we are also now having agriculture, climate change, etc. So we are also looking at carbon emissions, footprints which are there, and trying to address. And when we say Viksit Bharat 2047, we want to make India more secure, more nutrient secure, and less carbon emissions.
Okay, ma'am. Thank. Ma'am, I recently came across a I don't know recently in ads from social media itself Poshan Ma. What do you know anything about that, ma'am? Can you just?
Yeah. Poshan Ma is to address specifically and encourage the celebrations with all the pregnant and lactating mothers, where we are talking of the 1,000 days, where if a mother loses the opportunity, we have the children to follow up till 2 years. We want to encourage all of them so that we want to create kind of awareness.
So how does
Your
that
duty
it
as well
differ
as
from
my
that
duty.
which you said maternal feeding and all? How does that differ from that? Why it is separately called Poshan Ma again? If it is focused for pregnant ladies and lactating women.
Yes.
Then there was one more scheme you said maternal care.
Yeah. So we have, so I would encourage you to visit an Anganwadi and find out what do they do. So we have four antenatal care checkups which we have with the help and ICDS together working in an Anganwadi. So we have an Asha who in a village would know that particular ladies are pregnant. Her job is to bring that lady to get enrolled in the Anganwadi services and the health services. So during her pregnancy, she is expected to have 4 checkups for her pregnancy before her delivery, so that we are monitoring her completely, and they get something called as a Mamta card. That card also talks to her about her health in the local language, and her going to be newborn who will be also recorded in that. So in Poshan Ma, we want to widespread the awareness that all mothers attend the clinics. We also want to encourage and address that missed gap which the mother has sometimes done, because sometimes she is married and gone to another place, and sometimes she's still at her own place. So either ways we want her to get registered, and if she is missing anything in there, I want you to keep in mind that we all consume different types of diets with cultural aspects in our country. Every state and every district, even you will see that there is change in the diets. So not necessarily everybody is optimally taking all the nutrients all the time. So to address that, we want that people consume those take-home rations, and the taste of a vitamin mineral mix is really very bad, and therefore we have put the rasoi shows for the mothers to incorporate that 130 grams into any of their regular consumed food products, so that the taste is adjusted and they don't throw it away or give it to cattle.
Thank you, ma'am.
Welcome.
Good afternoon, ma'am. My name is Payal Pal.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon. You can sit down and ask. No worries. We'll
Ma'am,
sit down.
my question is the data shows mother often share take home ration with the whole family. How can program ensure that intended beneficiaries actually consume the food?
Correct. Thank you for asking that. So that is the reason that we are bringing the mothers, also the mother-in-laws or anybody who is responsible in the family who takes care of a pregnant mother. We make them understand to the best ability that this is specifically addressing the nutrient deficiency for this particular person. So we always get certain responses which tells us we all also grew up just like that. We never had these kind of improvisations. But times have changed. We are living a stressed life now with more of emissions around us and climate changes around us. So we make them understand both the mothers or the mother-in-laws or the ladies who come, that you need to consume this for your benefit. If it is for a child, we tell for the child's benefit. If it is a SAM child, we enroll them in nutrition rehabilitating centers. We keep them there for 30 days, monitor the entire program. Every 10 days, they are supposed to come back to the center. They do sometimes, they sometimes don't, because mothers also have other duties and children, younger children or elder children to address at homes. So these programs do have their own plus and minus which goes on. So we try to ensure, how do we ensure? We have clinics in the public health center. The mother is supposed to get her blood tested after every 6 months. So at least 2 blood tests we have recommended, and sometimes they do follow up strictly, sometimes they don't.
Thank you, ma'am.
How can we improve THR taste and acceptability?
THR taste and acceptability has been tried in various states. That is where I gave you those food products. We developed 41 food products across India, and that has been tested. I mean, it's all locally made, okay? So, east, west, north, south has various aspects of consumption, and that's where we have addressed that. So, these 41 products which we made are widely acceptable.
Okay, ma'am. Ma'am, so far, which state has the best THR model?
We cannot say that who consumes best DHR. I need to look up at the database to answer this, but I think I am seeing a lot of improvisations in Kerala, Tamil Nadu, Karnataka, Andhra to a great extent. I am seeing Odisha, and I'm not seeing great results in Madhya Pradesh at all. I'm very sad that they really do not care for it. Uh, so these are few observations I have made personally.
Okay, ma'am. So, what's the main policy gap in Portion 2.0?
2.0, that gap is where we are trying to address the nutrient intake, optimal nutrient intake. So we have designed the optimal nutrient intake, that this much of protein and this much of micronutrients. That's where Portion 2.0 is aiming at.
So, ma'am, it's based on RDA, like how you are doing it. Optimization is based on RDA.
Optimization is based on the consumption. We are encouraging the mothers to consume them. And we are making that as the THR. We are just not giving them the packets and sending them. We are calling them to the Anganwadi, preparing it there itself. So the Rasoi shows are aimed on them. If you ask me, in Gujarat, it is on every Wednesday. And in certain places, the adolescents are called on Saturdays and Tuesdays. Because depending upon their school curriculum, we also have dropout girls. So we use the school girls to bring the dropout ones.
Okay,
It's
okay,
not
ma'am.
very easy said and done. There's a lot of effort going on.
One more question, ma'am. What one reform could fast track Viksit Bharat 2047 goals?
Follow up by digitization process. So we are tracking now digitally. So I would like to say, if you have observed the Russian shop, if you have not, then you should go and visit one. Go to the FCI go down. So the FCI go down gets a message, in this particular train your food grains are going to come. That message, as soon as it is delivered in the FCI, the respected district or supply officer gets a message. The district supply officer gets a message, so many metric tons are arrived. The district supply officer puts it to the village FPOs that this has arrived, and on this particular day, this truck with this material will reach your place. Once that enters the district, the village supply officers get it. The village committee has the message. The village committee gets the message. The household gets the message that this is your time and this is your ration which has arrived. So, suppose if I am the district supply officer and I have 100 metric tons, in the village I finally gave 99 metric tons, but one is remaining. That gets recorded in the digital system. So, in the next supply, I will get only 99, I will not get 100. So, we are reducing the wastage also, and we are trying to address this. Does that answer you?
Yes,
So
ma'am.
that's one example I gave you to understand digitization. You go and ask anybody in the village, do they get a message that their ration has arrived? They will say yes or no. They will show you the SMS which comes.
Ma'am, this is based on distribution part. How we can reduce the nutritional loss at kitchen level or household level? How we will optimize it?
So correct. So when suppose if I am teaching this to students, I will make public health field programs, group the students, first teach them in the classroom what happens, why happens, and then I will leverage this, go with them to the field, write letters for permission, and then go with them to the field, expose them to the field. We will find difficulties in the early times, but we will learn how to move it across.
Ma'am,
So the children also will slowly gain that confidence. So say for example, in a semester you plan out 10 practicals. So each practical is say 2 to 3 hours. Your children also will get time. We need to design questionnaires, get information. Some informations may also go wrong. We analyze the data, we'll come to know what is true and what is not.
ma'am, I have one suggestion related to this. Like for making it on national level, uh, it's better we can integrate it with the Anganwadi system. Like if we
Correct.
have some workers who used to cook midday meals or something like that, we can train them, or we can assign one nutritionist over there so who can observe where the nutrition loss is and how it can be tackled. So
Correct.
it's just a good suggestion.
So we have district nutrition program officers. Okay, we already have them in place. Their job is to go to various villages. They may not be able to visit all the villages. Turn wise, they go to different villages and they do record all these informations. So all that what we are speaking is from the data which they enter into the national portal.
Okay. Ma'am. One more is there, ma'am. Uh, should THR be standardized or region specific? Nowadays, it's region specific. So, can we standardize it according to nation? All over the nation, how we can standardize it? THR, ma'am.
Correct. So let's take examples between Gujarat, Odisha, and Kerala. Kerala people and Odisha people consume a lot of fish and meat products. Gujarat people are straight opposite. They consume more of milk and dairy products. So the THRs are standardized based on the requirement. So we look into the database and find out which nutrient needs to be addressed more in the specific state. So we give that option to the state nutrition people. We have a state nutrition cell. So that state takes a call which micronutrient or which nutrient is what they want to address. And the central government supports that.
Yeah, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. Is there any risk in over relying on fortified foods?
Yes, there is a risk in over relying on fortified foods. Fortified food is a strategy to immediate address. So I'll give you the example of salt ionization. So we have been fortifying the salt since last from 2006. It's been a mandate. So we reached in 2018 173 micrograms is the urinary iodine excretion data which we have. Average across India for all populations. So we require per day 150 micrograms for all our activities. So we have calculated based on molecular weight, based on consumption of salt, which is 5 to 8 grams in southern states, 15 grams up to northern states and western places. Based on that, this calculation has been adjusted. Now, there was a big concern from ICMR saying we have data which is crossing 450 micrograms in the urine in pregnant mothers. So, when we were making the salt, we had initiated at 30 ppm by the manufacturers to start with. So, we took a call, we reduced it to 27 ppm, and then in 2019 we went one more down, 26 ppm, and the gazette was out. So now the manufacturers are making salt at 26 ppm. So we need to revisit the fortification program every 5 to 10 years. Intermittent assays are done, and each state has a cell to look into all this, and their job is to collect data and report to ICMR. So we don't want to overdo any fortificant or any micronutrient. What is needed for the country is being addressed.
Ma'am, what's the biggest barrier to achieve nutrition security?
We are not consuming in optimal requirement.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you. Any more questions?
Yes, ma'am. Good afternoon, ma'am.
Good afternoon.
My question is how does Portion 2.0 integrate community participation to improve nutritional outcomes, and what challenges could affect its effectiveness?
Okay.
That's
A lot of people, I'll give two examples. One is a pregnant mother does not want to attend the public health center in a village. If there is a private hospital, I will prefer to go to private hospital. Number one. Similarly, a pregnant mother in a village also does not want to go to Anganwadi and consume that take-home ration in the proportion which has been taught to them, but she is ready to go and take maybe 500 rupees worth capsules from a pharma company if the doctor says. What will you understand from that?
okay, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
Yeah, what is happening is I myself am not relying on my own systems, my own government. My own government is producing something and giving it to me. I'm not saying everything is great, but there is an effort which is being made. So when we don't accept that, when we don't consume that in the right proportions, in the right manner, then we are finding it difficult to address, and therefore the effectiveness of the program goes low, and that brings all these nutritional gaps. And all the time when we keep saying that we are not able to achieve this target which we are talking.
Okay, ma'am.
Ma'am, I have one more question. And the presentation mentioned millet mission and how do you see consumer behavior shifting in the next 10 to 20 years towards this option?
Okay. So when we suppose if I ask you a question, I want an answer from you. Do you consume chips or Balaji wafers or Ruffles Lays or anything? Do you?
Chips, ma'am.
Say truthfully.
Achieves, ma'am.
Yes or no?
Yes.
Sometimes do you do consume? Yes, very good. I'm thankful for that answer. Now, suppose as a regulatory, I'm going to remove all kurkure, balaji, all that. Including me, I also have the habit of munching sometimes, watching TV, having these. So, when the government has asked us high fat salt foods to be removed, I asked one question: what will everybody munch? I will also want to munch something because it's not just the food we consume. We do take sweets, we do take some other munchies, which is our habit, food habit. So we are trying with all the national institutions various products from millets. Okay, so millet-based poha, millet-based kurkure, millet-based noodles. It will have certain proportion mixed and coming out. So there's a lot of work which is being done on that because it's not very easy to shift the taste from one to the other in a large population. So we are waiting. Some products have come which is really very good, but they are having the cost being spilled over to the consumer. So we are still working on some of the cost effectiveness.
Okay,
Does
ma'am.
that
Thank
answer
you.
you?
Thank you, ma'am.
Okay.
Good afternoon, ma'am.
Good afternoon.
Ma'am, my question is that what are the major gaps that you come across in transitioning from food security to nutrition security?
What are the major gaps?
Yes, ma'am.
Optimal nutrient intake by every single person. So if I ask you today, did you eat food? In a
Yes.
normal day, we will say yes. क्या खाया? Roti sabji khaya. Did you eat a balanced diet? No. Did you eat a balanced diet every day? Every meal?
No.
No. That is the optimal nutrient gap which is being done. And for ease of convenience and also for ease of consumption, हम all the time optimal nutrient नहीं खा रहे हैं, but in a day we do match. अगर दोपहर को कुछ products खाया तो रात को कुछ और products खा रहे हैं. So we are trying to adjust that. इसके बीच में जो गैप रह रहा है is the nutrient security which we are talking, and that sometimes have to be consumed by taking multivitamins. So if in a large population, when we have population who are very vulnerable, we give them the take home rations, and also in the Anganwadis we give food cooked hot meals to children to address that nutrient gap. At homes, if I say you start taking multivitamins and iron folic acid twice a week, 2 tablets, maybe a gap of 4 days each, will you do it as a young generation?
No. No, ma'am.
Correct. So you are not addressing the optimal nutrient intake. There would be some losses, some biological absorption happened by the food, but some might not have also happened. So if I say take 2 tablets of multivitamins in a week and take 2 tablets of iron folic acid, we have Kishore Shakti Yojana program going on for all adolescent girls. But nobody cares. So that is where we are not reaching that optimal nutrient target.
Thank you, ma'am.
Good afternoon, ma'am.
Good afternoon.
Ma'am, is fortification enough without dietary diversity? Is fortification is enough
No.
for us?
Not at all. Fortification is one of the strategy. आपको rice fortified मिला with 3 micronutrients. Is it enough without eating vegetable, meat, eggs? No, na? So dietary diversity is a must. कोई नहीं बोल रहा है कि fortified products अकेले खाओ तो सब कुछ ठीक हो जाएगा. Fortification is one strategy to address large masses to have addressed especially the micronutrient deficiencies. Along with that, please consume all diets, all food products which are available in and around your area of living.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
Good afternoon, ma'am.
Good afternoon.
Ma'am, my question is that how India can practically shift from food security to the nutrition security at the community level?
As a community, that is where we are now creating a lot of awareness. So, one program which is ongoing is a satellite education program to educate communities and masses through Saksham Anganwadi 2.0. So, the satellite programs are run through Government of India Information Broadcasting System, and their job is to keep running education programs to create critical awareness among mothers and children, adolescents, so that they do this. Number one. Number two, in education policy, there are few inductions which are happening now, that new education policy where health is being considered to be taught in much younger ages. When I was in school, we had units and chapters in biology to address this. Later on, that changed. Now I think again it will come. So, from school itself, you will become aware on what is the importance of health and nutrition in your life, how lifestyles have to be modified. So it's not just one approach; it's multiple approach where country is trying to have transition in the food and also trying to make healthy food options for youngsters. All restaurants are also being asked now to. We have gone zero trans fat. Now we are asking them to use less oil and cook healthy products. Also display what is the calorie content and what is being used in the food. So multiple approaches are being done for having this transformation. Food.
Good afternoon, ma'am.
Yes.
My question is, what policy gaps still exist between achieving the short-term nutrition goals and the larger vision of Viksit Bharat for 2047?
Policy gap is uh, not very well. Uh, I would like to say in the policy, what we find is a lot of infrastructure and lot of investment is also needed. Food is expensive, so some of our policies, as you saw, it is rupees 679. It is not even $1. So we need to invest more in health and nutrition programs, especially, and in educating our population. And that policy shift is what we are trying to now change.
As students from life science or nutrition background, how can we contribute in driving awareness and innovation in nutrition security 2030?
Very good. Thank you so much for asking that. So, as a student, there are all the national institutions have a youth wing. So, I would also ask Tejpal to connect you all to that. And these youth wings are supposed to be doing voluntary participation. Nobody is going to force you. It's your choice that I want to do something for my country. So, I'll give you one example. As a young student, I always worked with WWF and INSONA in educating school children on environment aspects. And we used to collect funds and take the children to nearby villages, nearby places, someday, one day trip, small sanctuaries to educate and create awareness, make eco clubs in school. Similarly, as you can join, start in your own district some activities which will help enhancing nutrition awareness and create your own youth groups and align it to national levels.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Okay.
Hello, ma'am. Um, my
Hello.
my question is, in what ways can plant-based protein innovation reduce dependence on animal-based foods?
Okay. India is a country, if we talk to consume animal based food products, there will be a lot of issues on culture, on implications from religion, etc. So the shift is being now tried more on the plant-based products. We are an agri land. We can grow a lot of farm produces, and therefore we are looking more on the agricultural aspects and farmers' production. Also, we want to extract protein from the plant products and use them. You heard about tofu. I'm giving you one example which is very easy for you to understand. So tofu is nothing, it is bean curd. So good quality rajma has to be used and processed to make the bean curd. Second is to use soya proteins. If you look at a lot of innovative models, you will see a lot of soya protein being used in the system. And that is where we are slowly trying to change the animal protein from the plant to the plant protein. So I am a person who consumes vegetarian as well as equally non-vegetarian. Both have different impact on our body. I'm a human physiologist basically. So something what the plant protein gives, the animal protein doesn't give. Something which is by the animal plant protein is better. In some aspects, those amino acids may not come from the meat products. So one can balance and consume depending upon your consumption pattern.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you.
No
And
foods.
and one more question, that is it easy to develop protein-based plant food products economically viable?
At present, no. We are still working on the cost effectiveness, but the government will definitely promote if somebody has to start a new startup. I hope you all visited the World Food India program because lot of technologies were exhibited by a lot of national institutions, and that was for all youngsters to learn that these things can be done. There's a lot of effort, there's a lot of money invested, and one can get a lot of startup done on that. Start with a small program and then reach out to larger.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you so much. Good afternoon, ma'am. I
Good
would like to
afternoon.
ask, as you mentioned that a plant protein and animal protein will have different effects on your physiology. So if now there are a lot of protein in the market, like whey protein, vegan whey protein, and they claim that the amino acid profile is similar to the whey protein. So if the amino acid profile is same from the plant protein and animal protein, will they still have different effect on the body?
To me, yes, but I have not worked on it to see anything. The impact of something on an animal cell is different from the impact on a plant cell. But when we want to one planet, one health, when we want to keep our planet moving in the right direction, because we have misused the resources of our planet, then if we have to shift from animal protein to plant protein, then that is a greater call which we are called to, and we need to address that. So definitely there will be some changes which will be there uh, in the protein aspects, in the amino acid aspects. Over a period of time, we will evolve out of that, because that will definitely affect your nutrient gene pool.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you.
So some new, yeah, so some new nutrigenomics people will give a lot of answers to this, because they have also started working on that.
Okay, ma'am. I'll read about it. One more question. In your opinion, the supplementation, say multivitamin or iron tablets, are they safer in long term? Say if we are having two multivitamins weekly, so can we have it all our life? Is it safe?
You don't have to take it all your life. Your supplementary nutrition, why we are saying supplementary? It is additional to our meal. We are supposed to take, on an average, we are supposed to take 2000 kilocalories of food. That if is not addressing your requirement, then we are asking you to take the supplementary nutrition. So I will give you one running example. You consume 2000 calories for few months, and you also consume 2600 calories for 2 months. See how best your performances are, and you will understand that you are not falling ill when your nutrient intake went higher, and even if you fall ill, you will recover faster.
Okay, ma'am.
So that's how you will find out what works for you. That's why I would say it is personalized. So supplementary nutrition is a program to address the immediate need and the two-year gap time which a mother would be there, or for an adolescent who is a school dropout from the age of 14 to 17 or 18, we want her to take that so that she will not deliver a stunted child.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you.
Good afternoon, ma'am. Myself, Vijayani Bihari. I'm from Nutrition Biology Department. So, ma'am, I'm from Odisha and I've seen it in many villages that many mothers doesn't know how much THR they should supposed to get, and they generally, distribute it among their family members. So, shouldn't government do something to aware them that how much nutrition, how much amount they should get, and how much amount they should eat from the THR?
Only the government should create the awareness. Are we not also responsible to talk to our own neighborhoods? I often go to villages whenever I am getting time, and I would go just check and talk to mothers, find out are they aware? Do they get everything? How many of you have seen a ration card and helped somebody? On the left hand side of the ration, there is a number which you can dial. And many times when we dial, nobody picks it up. But after 1 or 2 days, somebody will call you back. It is a system generated call. And we are supposed to answer, because हमने एक सुविधा क्रिएट किया है, तो वो सुविधा के बारे में लोगों को बताओ, और ये भी मॉनिटर कर लो कि ये रेगुलर हो रहा है कि नहीं. The drawback may be गवर्नमेंट सिस्टम्स में जब प्रोक्योरमेंट कर रहे हैं, क्वालिटी मैटर्स, तो we call it as procuring system L1. So that sometimes affects the quality. So we also give the recommendation to government that please improve quality, because if the product is not good, the shelf life also goes away. So one, improve the quality. Second, inter-distribution inside family to be discouraged. And that is where we ask the mothers to come and consume it in the Anganwadi. Now, if suppose a mother is a laborer, every day we cannot ask her to come. She needs to go and earn that money, which is under her portion of work, maybe 600 rupees a day or 300 rupees a day. We don't want her to lose that. So in Janani Suraksha Yojana, we have kept when the mother comes for an ANC, she is given additional 600 rupees by the government because she took that day off from the pay, and as a laborer, she is attending her health.
Okay, thank you, ma'am.
So there are various programs, and these programs are emphasized. So as I said, now we are putting this satellite education system so that everybody reaches and people are aware.
Okay, thank you, ma'am.
Ma'am, like in Karnataka, like basically I'm from Kerala, but I stay in Karnataka. So there is like a scheme, Anna Bhagya Yojana scheme, through which like rather than getting THR, they provide like per person extra 5 kgs of rice amount price they give like per kg 35 rupees, 34 rupees like that. So per month. So rather than giving this amount, don't you think they should increase the quality of the THR which are provided? Like they may include something like that because they won't use this amount for their health benefit because it is directly coming to their account of like female head of the family. If the head of the family in ration card from female is, then the amount is directly transferred to her account, bank account. So I like most of them don't utilize that for their health benefit. So what is your point of view on this?
First and foremost, if it is addressed through public distribution system, that extra 5 kg is under Garib Kalyan Yojana, which is given to them as an additional benefit. I am not aware of anybody who can sell it at rupees 34, 35, which you should inform the district collector, because to me there is no such scheme. But if the Karnataka government or Andhra government has revised a new thing as per their state protocol, then that must be there, because under NFSA, if the household head is a lady and she has registered with the bank, her bank account and her mobile is connected with the Aadhaar, then she gets 60 rupees for purchase of
Like per head,
vegetables
ma'am,
every
if
week.
there are 5 members.
Right.
If
So that I am aware of, but this is very new to me, which if you can share some details, I will find out.
the scheme is called Anna Bhagya Yojana scheme.
So Annabhagya Yojana scheme is for addressing the most vulnerable, and that is where they are given that additional. But the cost which you said, I am not aware of.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you.
Okay, ma'am. How can vegan ensure the adequate vitamin B12 and iron intake?
Can you please repeat the question? It was not clear to me.
How can vegan ensure adequate amount of vitamin B12 and iron intake?
Yeah, just give me 1 second. I would like to pick up the call. I'm muting myself for 1 minute. Yeah. Am I audible?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Yeah. So your question was how do we
How can
address
vegan diet?
this? Can you repeat the question, please?
How can vegan diet ensure the adequate amount of vitamin B12 and iron intake?
Oh, ensuring this is a big concern. I have a question to you. Do you know what is your iron level?
13.
Yes or no? Yes or no? Or to all the youngsters who are sitting there, how often do you check your own iron levels? Or my other question is, when you are tired, what do you do? Any answers? Can you be louder? I am not able to listen to you.
Ma'am, my iron level is 12.7, and
Very
whenever
good.
I feel that my iron level is low, um, we can check eyes color. Like if it's not reddish, then it's deficient in irons. And so I used to take resins, soaked resins, and it's water. So within 10 days, it's up to the mark.
Okay, fine. So, since you are aware, you are able to do certain aspects which are there. In communities, people are not aware, so that is where we are trying to ensure the intake through fortified food products and tea formulations. Where in the public health lab, there is a provision for testing the iron, especially for the pregnant mothers. And also, if we see the growth monitoring is not great in children, we also check them. And then we are administering iron folic acid tablets, which is 100 tablets to them. And we also ensure multivitamins. So there is a provision available in the public health system. But you have to go to the public health clinic, or there may be an ESI clinic which is very nearby. If you avail the service is available. There is a new option which is going to come. People are scared to prick blood, so a new device is being done, and that will, I think, get popularized. We just have to keep the small finger into the machine, and we'll come to know what is the level of our hemoglobin. So that will take a little bit time to come into effect with everybody, because at present cost effective we have it, and that will help us. So to ensure, if you go at least check once in 6 months what is your level of hemoglobin, then there are ways of means and addressing that. And people should consume iron folic acid. And that's why I said, all of you, even though your iron is say 12.7, my iron last month is 13.9. The moment I feel tired, I understand my iron level has come down. I will take supplements for 3 weeks, stop for another 2 weeks, go and check. So I'm now 63. I still do that. I find that my neural system is not great. I'm having memory loss. I will take supplements of B12. So as I said, I'm a person who eats quite good food. I'm a foodie basically. But there are nutrient gaps because maybe I'm uh, working, I'm not addressing my own requirements sometimes. Many things can happen. So, intermittently supplement yourself. Also, when it is a community approach, give that opportunity to the most vulnerable. Encourage them to go to the clinic, encourage them, be with them, give that support, talk to them, and make them understand that this is available. We need to take that. So, that's how we are encouraging communities for the same.
Yes, yes, ma'am. Thank you so much for wonderful lecture, and our students are benefited. You have touched various aspects nicely, transforming food security to nutrition security. You have nicely explained our young generation to PDS system and nutrition impact through flagship schemes, Government of India, various schemes, their impact with citing practical examples, and you have touched the key drivers of policies, their status, critical need, and optimal nutrition. You have discussed feeding practices, implementation partners, supplementation programs, and mapping the THR and critical challenges also. And you have cited some examples also. And you have compared with ICDS norms with the THR also, and fortification guidelines, energy practices, applications, global rice fortification programs, and you have mentioned some innovative techniques and policy based recommendations also. So I think this is a huge knowledge addition to our participants, and we are appreciating and we are thankful to you for your time and giving delivering wonderful lectures to our GAN participants. And since the program is live also, so I'm sure several learners are benefited from this program. So once again, ma'am, thank you so much for your time and efforts in designing slides, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you for inviting. Thank you very much. God bless all.
Thank you, ma'am. And next time, ma'am, we will request to please be in person in Central University of
Sure.
Haryana as per your
Definitely.
convenience, ma'am. Thank you,
Sure.
ma'am. Thanks a lot, ma'am.
Yep.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Ma'am.
Thank you.
I hope everyone will be benefited from the lecture. With that, we'll now take a short tea break. Let's continue this meaningful discussion of tea before we reassemble for the next session at 4 p.m. Thank you.